Good morning, grand rising, happy new day. Welcome to a new experience. I am so glad to be here today with you all again. This is our fifth session of the weekly exhale with Dr. Jada. And some days y'all get the weekly exhale with Jada. But anyway, this is the fifth week of the weekly exhale. And some of you have been here from the beginning, and some of you are joining for the first time. And it's all good. Those of you who have come back, I appreciate you taking time out of the day, time out of the week to be here and to be present for yourself. And really, I say it's not just for you, but most importantly for you, because that's what we don't often do enough is take time out for ourselves. So doing it at the top of the week to be able to set the tone for our week, to set our intentions for the week, to really have a say-so in the outcome of our week. We gather together in this low pressure space to be in community with one another. Many of us are high achievers, high performers, leaders, executives, people who are used to carrying many demands and many responsibilities. And today is a day, and this hour is an hour. These 45 minutes is a day for you to be poured into. The Bible says that he who refreshes others shall be refreshed. And so this is a refreshing time. This is a time to breathe. This is a time to pause. This is a time to set and reset in some cases. And we get to do that in this container, this space together, where there's no judgment, there's no need to do anything, there's no fixing here, there's no comparison, there's no need to show up in any other way than as yourself. No performance, no pretending, none of those things. This is a breathable space, hence the weekly exhale. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, you may want to grab a piece of paper or and a pen, or you may want to sticky note or whatever you want to do to maybe jot some notes. And some of you, you don't have to do that. Even if you just want to be present in the moment, you want to soak into this time, then just do that. So the past several weeks, first of all, if you think of anybody else that should be here, go ahead and invite them now. Send them a quick text and make sure that they get on the call too. You do not have to come off camera. You do not have to share. You don't have to say anything. There will be times when I will open up the floor for sharing. Again, you don't have to come off camera. Just come off mute when the time comes if you choose to. This is really a low pressure space. So enjoy this time together. You know me, I'm Dr. Jada, so I am here to support you in your next season. So our theme today is creating your next season, aligning your mind, energy, and inner wisdom. So the purpose of this session is we're going to move you from your awareness of thoughts, which is where we started, to intentional alignment with the inner being. And, as we go into our future directions. So over the past few weeks, we've been exploring something very powerful about how we move through life. Our first 4 weeks were centered around surviving hard seasons. So this week we are exploring something more powerful, something that will. Let's see if y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Let me know. Let me know if you can hear me. think is my music doing something that it wants to do?
I can hear you clearly.
Maybe. Okay, there we go. The music is done. All right, hold on, y'all. But can you hear me?
I can hear you over the music.
You can? Okay.
Yes.
Can you hear less of the music now?
It has not reduced in volume since I joined.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Let me just do this. I think. Let me do this. All right, you can hear. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, so over the past few weeks, we've been exploring something very powerful about how we move through life. We have started with awareness. We're simply noticing ourselves more honestly, being the observer in our own lives. We have taken a step back to not just be in our situations and circumstances, but to step back to see ourselves as an actor or a player in those circumstances and situations. And when we do that, we start to become present to certain things that uh, our tendencies and our ways. And then we started to look more honestly at the words that we speak that help to co-create these situations and circumstances that we are now seeing ourselves being a part of. So we stepped out of being the one that life is happening to, i.e., sometimes feeling like we're victimized, we're putting situations, to seeing how we are showing up, how we are co-creating these situations, which took us from being victim to victor to being able to be have a say so and be in a more powerful position. And so we started to look at the words that we speak and how our language, our own language as it relates to ourselves, about ourselves, of ourselves, speaking to and on behalf of ourselves, how our languages began to shape our internal world. So we were seeing a reflection of what we were saying. And from there, we explored last week where our words were coming from, that these words were a byproduct of our thoughts, and how our thoughts are not just random mental noise. Our thoughts are not just coming up out of the blue, although it feels that way very often, that our thoughts are really coming from a place of the past, a place of wanting and missing, and a place that many of us had found ourselves even into adulthood to this day, that helped to be a part of how we have co-created the reality that we experience, right? So what's interesting in this is that we talked about neuroplasticity. We talked about the brain's ability to be on autopilot or the automaticity of behavior, but we also talked about the ability of the brain to repath, the ability of the brain to chart new course, to be stimulated and activated in new ways that allowed us to create something very different from what we have created up until this point, or slightly different when necessary. So we talked about the science of how our brains work and how our thoughts are developed and how that plays out in our daily life. But what is interesting is that both science, that part of what we know about the inner working, the physiology, and spirituality, point us towards a similar insight. Science tells us that the brain is constantly scanning the world based on what we focus on, right? Our attention, it literally filters what we notice and what we experience. However, spirituality and spiritual intelligence, spiritual technology, spiritual traditions, and I'm not speaking religion here, so this is non-denominational. This is just the spiritual laws of the earth, the universe, the world that have been put in place before we were even thought about. Well, maybe we were thought about it, but the point being is that there has been some connection, something that spirituality or spiritual traditions or spiritual intelligence has said that's been very, very familiar for many, many centuries. And that is that our inner state, inner, which could be a play on words, interstate, but inner state, INNER state, influences the life that we create. But there's yet another layer that we don't talk about very often, especially amongst successful women, beyond our thoughts, beyond our words. There's something that we can really tap into as our inner being. So a lot of times you've heard, maybe you've seen it saying that the enemy could really be a function of the inner me, that energetic and I am part of us. So this spiritual part, this spiritual context, and we'll spend some time with this later, is really the I am of us. The I am that was given to us, that was a part of our original design, the masterpiece, the unique being that we were created in the image of I am. And therefore, we say a lot of I ams, and we sometimes say those very loosely, but we don't realize that that really is that spiritual connection of who we are and our spirit, our architecture, if you will. Some people would say our DNA, but it's even so much deeper than DNA because it's deeper than before the physical came into existence. So that energetic and spiritual part of us carries wisdom. It carries intuition and alignment. Alignment is being in the will of our inner being, our inner purpose, our inner actions, our inner design. Being in the will of, that's what alignment means. That's my description for it. So if you think about being in that, and as we talk about that, and as we learn, and as we practice this, because this is becoming the tools that we are using in this container are not just for you to hear these things and go about your day. It is to instill practice. So many of us have built our success by relying heavily, very, very heavily on drive, motivation, discipline. And sometimes that motivation really was external motivation, that things that we picked up early on, we were motivated because we didn't want to be like our cousins, or we didn't want to be broke, or we never wanted to have to eat mayonnaise sandwiches, or whatever it is that, you know, has been a part. Sometimes that external drive. Maybe we were told by our parents that you have to get straight A's. You have to be at the front of the class. Society has taught us as women, you have to work 10 times harder, 10 times longer, show up 10 times stronger. So a lot of times this external drive and discipline and responsibility has been our IOS, our inner operating system. And those traits, they worked. That got us far. It created the level of success that we've been able to acknowledge, recognize, be recognized for. the level of success that we have been able to enjoy in many cases. Those traits did their job. They got us far. But at some point in life, we start asking a different question. We start to get a little weary or start to find ourselves a little disconnected from the things that we've been doing for years, decades, the acclaim, the success, the accolades, the certificates, the degrees. They don't cut it anymore. It's hard to sometimes get up and rah-rah yourself and rally yourself to go up out for another day, another week, another month, another year of goals, plans. At some point in life, we start asking a different question. That question, what if the next season of my life isn't about pushing harder, but about living more aligned? Write that down. Somebody put that in the chat for me. What if what if the next season of my life isn't about pushing harder or continuing to push hard, but it's about living more aligned? So today and this week, I'd love for us to explore that bridge together. From the ways we've operated in the past to the possibility of creating our next season more consciously. Notice I said consciously. We haven't gotten into this work yet, but many of you are already aware that we have our subconscious, conscious state and our superconscious state. And we have our unconscious state, which we can't do much about. But consciously, I want you to tie that consciously into our awareness. What if, and what would it look like for us to explore this bridge together? From the ways we've operated in the past to the possibility of co-creating our next season more consciously, more aware, and more intentionally. And for some of us, it would just be consciously for the first time, aware for the first time, intentionally for the first time. So let's talk about that. So maybe take a moment for reflection. The traits that built my success. Write that down or hold on to that. The traits that built my success. ... We're going to fill in the blank. You don't have to fill it in today or in this moment, but I want you to fill it in. The traits that built our success can become our invisible pressures, our invisible cages. The traits that built, as in past tense, up until this point, our success can become our invisible pressures in our invisible cages. Many successful women were rewarded early for being responsible, capable, dependable, reliable, flexible, amicable. But over time, those same strengths can quietly become expectations that we carry everywhere we go, everywhere we exist, everywhere we work, everywhere we lead, everywhere we serve. Over time, those same strengths can quietly become expectations, and always being the strong one, the reliable one, the one who holds everything, the one who is necessary for the show to go on. Sometimes the very traits that built our success also become the pressure that we live under. Let that sit. Take a sip. I got hot tea here. Take a sip. Sometimes the very traits that built our success also become the pressure that we live under. Now, our thoughts shape reality. We know that, right? We're going to make that declaration. But our energy, and I want you to think about this, that for a moment, let this bear reflection, is that our energy is a part of our being. When I say energy, I'm not meaning your personality. I don't mean your physical capacity, whether you woke up with energy to work out or run, or energy for the day. I'm not talking about energy as a element of function. Really, what I'm saying is, as much as we have a physical body, we have an energetic body. And that energy is a part of this spiritual being. It's the part that communicates when no words are used. It's the part of us that intakes and outputs. So that level of our existence, our energetic body, it's a part of us. And it shapes how we experience it. You can accomplish the exact same goal from two very different places. One place is a place of pressure, proving, pushing. And the other place, energetically, is clarity, alignment, and trust. The outcome may look similar from the outside. Mission accomplished, right? However, the experience of living your life feels completely different. So you can see how we're connecting mindset with energy. Another way that I've seen it put is inner, INNERG, as in inner God. Because our energetic and our spiritual, they're intertwined. Our I am. Our I am and our spiritual is our declaration. Our I am and our energy is how we experience our lives. So here's another thing that's really another point that's really important is that when we can take this and we can magnetize this in a strong magnetic attraction, this being awareness, when we can take these and magnetize this to awareness, awareness becomes the moment that power returns, the plug-in to the outlet. Before awareness several weeks ago, we simply repeat the patterns that helped us to succeed. Overworking, functioning because of competition, perfectionism, overextending. Before awareness, we simply repeated these patterns because that's what helped us to succeed. So they feel very, very necessary. And it feels that in the absence of them, everything will collapse. But after awareness, we realize something very, very liberating. Very, very liberating. Is that if we're willing to detach from those patterns, we get to choose how we move forward. It's not just the where, but it's the how we move forward. This is the bridge. Y'all gonna love this. Y'all gonna love this because I did. I loved it when this came to me. I loved it. I loved it. This is the bridge to the evolving woman. I'm gonna sit back on that one. I'm gonna let you write that down. In fact, y'all didn't tell me we skipped a step. Let's take this moment to breathe. Oh, geez, I expected you to let me know. We skipped the main thing is we come in here to breathe. So let's just take a moment now to breathe that in. Let's breathe that in. Let's use our breathing technique from last week, which is the physiologic sigh. So essentially what we wanted to do is take a breath in and take a longer exhale out. You can add volume to that if you want to. What I mean by that is you can let it hit the back of your throat. When it hits the back of the throat, that vibration, which is right there next to the vagus nerve, that vibration will create another sensation of grounded, relaxed, and focused you. So let's take a few seconds. Let's get that in. Let's get that in. Let's get it in. Come on, everybody. Come on. In fact, come off of mute if you can. Some of you are driving. Just keep driving. Keep doing your thing. Come off of mute. I just want us to do this inhale and exhale together. So don't worry about the cadence. Do you, boo. Don't worry about the cadence. Just take it in and let your exhale be longer than your inhale. You can create a count if you want to. I suggest you just let it flow naturally. In and out. Let's do 3 of those. I'm going to do them silently. I'm not going to count them. And then we'll just come back in together. And you can go off mute. But for right now, let's go in through the nose. Empty, 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 empty. Out through the mouth. The bridge to the evolving woman. Let's take a moment for a short reflection. Ooh, does that breath feel good? Nothing complicated, just a small pause to reconnect with ourselves. That breath gave us just what we needed. Go ahead and rotate your shoulders now that you let some of that lactic acid out. Let some of that CO2 out. Let some of that oxygen in. Now it's flowing. Probably starting to feel looser in your shoulders. Just let them move around a little bit. Let your neck search for different positions and let it get the crinkles and the wrinkles out. There you go. Just let that settle. Let that breath settle. Now, gently bring your attention inward. For some of us, we're starting to look at the clock. We're starting to get like, oh my goodness, I got to get to emails. Come back, come back, come back, come back. Give us just a few more minutes to be present in this space. Because to be present in this space, I'm going to ask you to go a step even further, which is to bring your attention inward. Let's take another breath on that. Feel your chest. Feel the expansion and the relaxation. Feel your body. Go inward, go inward, go inward, go inward, go inward. That's returning to your inner being. Now listen, listen. Quietly ask yourself this question. This is a different question, a similar, but a different question. So catch this. What would I like the next season of my life to feel like, not look like, feel like? What would I like the next season of my life? I want some of you to underscore, thank you, Spirit. I want to underscore my life. I want, that is singular, one person, and that is you. Very often when asked this question, we start to think about our children. I want them to make sure they're safe. I want to make sure my husband, I want to make sure they finish college, make sure they get to this, make sure they get, just you for this exercise, for just this exercise. What would I like the next season of, and put your name in there. I want you to actually say this aloud wherever you are. Where the word my life, I want you to put your life, your name. So what would I like the next season of Jada's life to feel like? Let me give you a moment to say that to yourself. Say it 3 times. It takes us more than once to really get this in us. What would I like the next season of to feel like? What would I like? This is just a like. It's not even heavy. It's not even need or any. This is just a like. And I'm going to challenge some of you. You may not be able to answer that now because you really probably have never even thought about it. Haven't given yourself permission to think about your life and your life alone. Too many responsibilities, too many roles, too many expectations have kept you from thinking about just you. Now, again, you don't have to figure all of this out today. You got a week to explore, to just be curious. This is again, there's no grade for this. You're not being evaluated. There's no assessment. There's no performance review. There's no, this is all personal. This is all personal. It's the part that we don't really attend to as much as we do our professional, our continuing education and going to workshops and seminars and all the things we do to make sure we stay on top of our professional game. But when do we do this work? When do we do this? We're doing it. So don't stress yourself. Don't press yourself. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is simply become quiet enough to hear our own inner wisdom. Let's take another deep breath. Inhale and a long exhale. And that is what the weekly exhale is here for. Success got many of us here. The bridge to the evolving woman is that alignment may just be what carries us forward. Yeah. Does anybody want to take a moment to share? We kind of finished. I'll give you 2 minutes if you have the chance to just do bullet points for those questions. Bullet points. Or just write down thoughts. Write down how this has landed. What are you feeling now? Is there a word that's coming up? Let it come up. Is there a part of your body that's activated? That if you take a moment and be into the awareness of it, what part of your body is activated right now? You feel a thud in your heart area. You feel a sensation in your belly. Did you start to feel any tension? Were you feeling any tension in your neck when we rolled around? Where are you in this moment? What's arising? What memories or scenarios have come to mind in this time together? What has resonated? Meaning, what felt familiar? Anyone want to come off of mute? Just come off. Don't raise your hand. We're not in a meeting. Just come off. How are you today? How are you showing up today? What are you feeling in your hmm?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Um, this is Vivian, and I tend to be quiet in the background, and that's where I spend most of my life. Um, today's session um, really is helping to energize me, to reconnect um, with my inner self. I think what really stood out, um, Dr. Jada, when you talked about energy is a part of our being, what
Mhm.
I noted to myself was that it's what fuels my inner being. It's the
Mhm.
source. And I
Mhm.
guess just to, because I'm a little all over the place, but
It's
those
okay.
the invisible pressures that feel like cages.
Mhm.
When I tied it all together and kind of answered that last question, what would I like the next season of my life to feel like? And the first thing that came to me was free. And
Mm.
so I think for me, the key now to achieve that is really to get that alignment, to spend some time understanding those things that, have got me here and that make me feel okay. Um,
Mhm.
but to use them in a way that releases the pressure, not continues to build pressure. So
Mm.
that's kind of where I'm at.
That's a wonderful share. That's a wonderful share. That's a wonderful share. And if I can add to that for you,
Mhm,
is to um for now, resist the urge to do a lot with that. Resist the
mhm.
urge to fix it. Resist the urge to see something different immediately.
Yes.
Use awareness as your bridge. Just become aware of when you don't feel free,
Okay.
and then aware in when you do
Mhm,
feel. What does feeling free feel like? What does it look like?
mhm,
When do I feel free? What is occurring around me? What's the scent? What's the smell? What's the sound? What's the weather? What's the so be in the awareness
mhm,
of what that feels like. And if there is little to say that I feel free, then
mhm.
I challenge each of us to determine and to be aware of when we don't feel free. That's when we're short breathing. That's when
Mhm,
we're scattered. We're all over the place. We're judging ourselves. We're feeling guilty. What's happening? What is this? Don't just observe it. A very copious dose of observation. In medicine, we want to see it. We want to diagnose it. We don't want to just treat something
mhm.
because this presented this way. So we treat it, observe it, get the right, feel of what it is. I think we all can share that space. How does that feel? How does that land for you, Vivian?
It lands very well. I think I have a great tool to go forward with, and I know what I'll be doing for the next however long it takes.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. really thank you for sharing. How many of you felt that? Like you could resonate with. Does anybody else want to share what you put in your little blank there? What do I want the next season? What would I like the next season of my life to feel like? Did anybody else get to that? Free is a good one. Ooh. Ooh. Did anybody else? Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for caring. Thank you for showing up. This is another week for you to exhale. And remember, this week, success got many of us here, but alignment may be what carries us forward. Until next week.